Hello, I'm Roman Furgalski. Today is 23rd of February 2010, and I'm going to talk today about freeline design, which is a technique created by me, I believe, and which helps basically to help me to design my paintings. This technique differs from probably traditional design because it's based on basically drawing the kind of free lines on a canvas in the initial stage, and then looking at these lines and trying to see the pictures in these lines. This is basically, in a nutshell, how it is done. In more details, it consists of basically three stages. The first stage, I would say, the painter needs to pick up the subject matter, something which he wants to do the design about, and to think about it. And probably it's a good idea just to design it in a traditional way, using various props or models or whatever. And then this is the first stage, and the next stage will be just actual drawing of the lines. Now, I do this with the closed eyes, and I mostly concentrate on the movement of the hand. Now, closed eyes, I don't know, are they necessary really or not? It definitely helped me to basically get out of the environment and concentrate on movement of the hand. Basically eliminate all this background and maybe sometimes confusing white canvas, etc., etc. So I'm closing my eyes, and I think this helps me a lot. When I'm drawing the lines, actually, I don't think or try to visualize the paintings I'm trying to do, or an image or subject matter. I might have some feelings about it, which I might probably concentrate more on this if I do have. But otherwise, I might think that I want to draw this particular subject, and then I concentrate on the movement of my hand. And the movement of my hand could be completely random. It just go up and down the sides and whatever, diagonally, whatever my fancy takes me in the moment of doing this. It's important that not two lines will be identical, really, but in the moment, this is what you will draw. Now, the third part of this design is really that you look at these lines and try to find the picture in them. Now, this is the most difficult part of freeline design, because it's quite intimidating, especially in the beginning, to see this jumble of random lines and to see the picture, and yet to see the picture which you wanted to paint. It all seems almost impossible initially. With training and practicing this, it becomes easier and much easier, and the time required for this is dramatically reduced. I started with the paintings which completely in the initial stages, which took me a couple of months to decipher the paintings. One of his paintings actually is here on the wall, and it took quite considerable time to do it. But, as I said, with practice, eventually you will be able to see the pictures. Now, the process of seeing is you basically take the canvas and you rotate it. So, for example, here I have a painting drawing lines drawn from my experiment. So I draw this in this position, right? In order to see the pictures, I will rotate the canvas. I will try to see the pictures in this position, in this position, in this position, and in this position. So four positions of canvas on which I can actually I can identify pictures And you might identify many pictures. Like in one of the drawing lines which I did online, I identified, I don't know, about 6 pictures, which relate, for example, to paintings I saw in a museum somewhere, of, for example, Cézanne paintings. Another one were from events from my life, which happened, which I could identify, and I could paint it. So I could paint it any of this. But eventually I found after some time, I found the actual picture which I wanted to paint and for which I designed this. So this actually brings me to the second stage of my presentation, which is what really inspired me to actually call it freeline design and to somehow see this as a kind of a method which could be used by painters. What it does for me is, first of all, it's helped my imagination. It helps me to see the aspect of a design which I otherwise might not see using traditional ways of so to speak, conscious design. Even when it comes to the particular aspect of design. For example, I was painting a musician one day, and I couldn't figure it out how to relate him to the guitar and this kind of thing. Now, by using this freeline design, I discovered that actually angle of the head can indicate its mental state, so to speak, towards the guitar. So this helped me to actually find this, and then paint this picture to express this meaning which I wanted to find, and which I couldn't really comprehend very well initially. So it's something which helps imagination, and looking to the lines requires it's a kind of a mental training, which helps see. It helps us to see things which otherwise we might miss. And if you look probably around, the world is full of lines, out of which actually our mind is building the picture of the world. So I hope that the basis of my freeline design really are cognitive mechanisms of mind, and I would distance myself from the interpretation of a Freudian interpretation of what I'm doing as some kind of a unconscious expressions of my unconscious mind, etc. I rather tend to look for explanation into cognitive science and psychology. And there are also various other circumstances. For example, when I was in Poland some time ago, I met quite famous Polish sculptor Władysław, and we just sit and talk, and we talk about his art, and I decided to buy from him 2 figurines of man and woman, and he told me that he did them with his eyes closed. He modeled the clay, actually, which was even used for a cast, with his closed eyes. From what he said, he was concentrating on actually eternal pictures which he had of a man or woman, and this is what he was trying to do, rather than doing it from a model or traditional kind of designs which are traditionally used in this process. Another thing which inspired me some time ago, I read about in Life of Matisse, which he drew when he was in south of France. He was trying to write a telegram to his mother, and when he was waiting in the queue, he just drew the doodles. He didn't even look at them on the piece of paper while waiting. And when he eventually I think came to do this, to send the telegram, he looked at this and he's surprised. So he's surprised he found that he drew a portrait of his mother. When I was in France in the